Do you trust Bitcoin? Is it worth $63,000? Do you trust Coinbase? Is it worth $100 billion? Let's see right now. Jim Ossofie, interpreting events to build wealth. This is a US dollar. It says right on it, "In God we trust." Is it God? Is it the United States? Is it both? Perhaps you trust Australia, Canada, France, the United Kingdom more. Regardless, everything is valued in this. Buyers and sellers interact to discover the price in US dollars. People that bid, there's people that ask, and the price is arrived upon in US dollars. It's the world's reserve currency. Everything is valued in US dollars, from gold to .com companies, to real estate, to South Sea swampland, to tulip bulbs, to pet rocks, and to Bitcoin. Everything is valued in this. Now, gold you can touch. Real estate you can touch. .com companies you can go and see them and touch them. Tulip bulbs you can touch. And pet rocks you can touch. Bitcoin you can't. But that doesn't necessarily rule it out and make it worthless. In 2011, a Bitcoin was worth 8/10,000ths of $1. Today, in 2021, it's valued over $63,000 per coin. Why? No one wants something if the price is falling, because the price is falling. Everyone wants something if the price is rising. That's what makes the price rise. Sir John Maynard Keynes termed it animal spirits, instincts and emotions that guide human behavior. Quick story. Many years ago, the early 80s, I ventured out to buy a house. Well, why was I buying a house? I just looked and I saw that my average income, and it was average, was not that far off of the price of a house. And also, rents seemed relatively high relative to the price of the house. Now, it's not that I was overly smart, I'm certainly not that, but I had been reading some material by some of the older investment writers that were successful. When I went to buy the house, I'll never forget, first of all, there was no lineup. There was nobody there. Nobody was buying a house. In fact, the government gave me grant money and anybody else that was dumb enough to buy a house at the time. And the real estate salesperson, they didn't come right out and ask me if I was crazy, but they certainly insinuated it, and maybe they were right. But there was just nobody buying real estate at the time. There was no lineup, and the price turned out was really low. You know, I drive by some developments and people are camped out overnight. Lineups, lawn chairs. I guarantee you the price is really high, or that lineup and those lawn chairs wouldn't be there. Now, I'm not saying they're wrong, their timing's off, but I'd rather be there when there's nobody in line and the person thinks I'm nuts. I like to listen to old rich guys for two reasons. They're old, they're experienced, and second, they're rich, so they don't have anything to gain by selling me something. There's really no agenda. That's not to say that you wouldn't listen to young people. They certainly are the most popular in the media. And these old, experienced guys, they're not gamblers, they're not speculators, they're not traders, they're always investors. So they're not playing that short-term, quick buck game. Although the vast majority of books and YouTubes are on that short-term game. And they're not bankers, they're not brokers, they're not mutual fund salesmen, they're not hedge fund managers, they're not guest analysts on CNBC. They don't have an agenda, and They're not looking to make money off of me, regardless of whether I win or lose. Although they are the most popular guests and the most popular people to listen to. So the old rich guys might ask something like this when it comes to Bitcoin to find out, try and ascertain what it's worth. They might ask something like, is it safe? Is it useful? Is it easy to use? Who's in charge of Bitcoin? Can you lose? Can Bitcoin be hacked? Who do I call if there's a problem with Bitcoin? Where's Bitcoin's headquarters? And of course, the common question, how do they make money? So these are the basic questions that I asked myself, and I was rather uncomfortable with the answers, to say the least. 90% of these already are digital, so what do I need Bitcoin for? Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer network. There's no trusted third party. It appears that it would be ideal for anonymity and tax avoidance. And nation states use tax for healthcare, for education, defense, all the benefits we enjoy. Without that, is that the kind of world you want to live in? It appears to me that Bitcoin is going to either A, implode on itself, or B, be declared illegal by nation state after nation state. Now, Coinbase actually is a tangible company. It IPO'd on the NASDAQ close to $100 billion. It actually does have some revenue, and it actually does have profit, and it actually operates with these. But its sole business is based on cyber currencies, the key one being Bitcoin. I guess when it comes down to it, you have to ask yourself, who do I trust? I trust the bankers, I trust the brokers, I trust the insurance companies, and I trust contracts that I enter into. Why? Because they're backed by the United States of America through agencies the United States backs, like the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, Investor Protection, etc. You know that the weight of the U.S. government's behind those organizations. And by the way, for those of you that are worried and switching to Bitcoin because you think they're printing too many of these, you should really think again. You don't become the world's reserve currency and a safe haven by being irresponsible. When it comes right down to it, this is what you trust, and this is what you should trust. What else is there? Jim Ossifee, interpreting events to build wealth.